move on and let's talk about Alien Romulus. Child, that took me a whole hour to get through. But anyway, let's talk about Alien Romulus. So last night I went to the movies, as y'all know, because I told y'all I was going to go see it. And I went to go see Alien Romulus. And I have to say, child, that movie gave me my life. Shout out to Fede Alvarez, who basically has become this guy that has resurrected a lot of franchises. You know, he basically resurrected the franchise of Evil Dead. Like, I love what he did with Evil Dead, the remake. Not Evil Dead Rise. He didn't do that one, but I love that he did Evil Dead, and that was like a really good one. I'm trying to remember if there was any other IPs that he took on because I know he did, and I was like, oh, maybe he needs to start doing original IPs. He has. It was called Don't Breathe. The first Don't Breathe movie was good. Second one, not so much. And I don't think Fede was a part of that. I think it's like once you start doing movies with excuse me, with studios or whatever, they could pretty much do whatever they want with your IP, and then they all of a sudden try to turn Stephen Lang into this anti-hero, which I feel like would have worked in some certain places, but it just didn't work for me in that sequel. But anyway, so let's get to my overall thoughts. I'm not gonna do a spoiler and give away stuff because I know that people, it just came out last night. I want people to get a chance to actually get a ticket or go see it. So I just want to be, so one of the things I do love about this film, similar to Evil Dead, his, remake of it, Alien Romulus explores this whole thing about sibling relationships in the middle of all the craziness that's going on. So I love this idea of that because you have this girl named Rain, played by Kaylee Spaney, who is also in a movie that I saw this. I didn't even realize that was her because I think she just changed up her hair color. She was blonde in oh my god, what is the name of that damn movie that just came out with Kristen, not Stewart. Jesus Christ, I cannot remember her damn what movie she was in. And it was like literally off the top of my head. Well, she actually plays a girl by the name of Rain Carradine. And Civil War. I don't know why it didn't come to me, but yeah, she was in the movie called Civil War, which I don't know if y'all have seen that movie, but definitely check it out. I also didn't realize that she was in a movie called Priscilla with Jacob Elordi. And she's a tiny little thing. She's 5'1" and she's 26. So I feel like she's going to have a career that lasts a long time. So the one thing I liked about it, the fact is that it's basically, to sum it all up, she plays a young girl who lost her parents to the mine. So now it's this thing where they live on this colony where, I guess, working for Weyland-Yutani. It's a mining planet of Jackson Star. And basically, a bunch of parents, they passed away. Their kids end up being stuck on this mining colony, and they basically have to gain a couple of points so that way they could leave the colony and go, I guess, somewhere where there's some sun. So she lost her parents, and she's not the only one. There's a lot of people that tend to do that. And so she's ready to leave. She has a companion by the name of Andy. That's the black guy that you see in the thing. He's actually a Weyland-Yutani equipment that was kind of, I guess, thrown away. Her father basically found Andy, and they took him in, and he's basically part of the family. So she kind of considers him like a brother that they take care of, that she takes care of, or keeps her, safe or whatever the case is. So she was basically working tirelessly to earn enough to finally leave the place behind while, looking after, as I said, her synthetic adopted brother, Andy, who's played by David Johnson. Now, let's talk about David Johnson. First of all, this guy, I don't know who he is. This is the first time I've seen him in something, but he acted his fucking ass off in this movie. Like, literally playing a character where has an American accent based off of the chip that they had in his neck. And then when he gets this upgrade later on in the movie, when they go to the ship, which I'll get into, and he all of a sudden comes with his real accent because I heard him speak in real life. He's actually British. So he's doing his actual accent. And then you start to see him kind of play like this hybrid of um the droid from the first film and the droid from the sequel, Lance Henriksen from the sequel, and then the original droid that was in the first one, the one that malfunctioned. So you kind of get this hybrid. And one of the things I will say about this film as well is the fact that it basically picks a lot of the greatest hits from the original Alien and Aliens, as well as I've noticed that there was some lore from Prometheus thrown in. But Fede, who co-wrote the script, does a phenomenal job of taking all the best parts of the original movie and making it its own film, and also grounding it. And I know a lot of people were upset because they're like, "Oh, y'all got a bunch of young actors and stuff up in here," and I'm like, there was a reason why Fede intentionally picked these young actors to be in the movie because he says it's harder for people to kill young people. So when you put young people in a film, it makes it harder to want to kill them all, which I actually think is good because there's always like this unspoken rule in horror movies that, oh, you can't kill kids. Who the fuck said that? That's why I live for some of the older films from back in the day where they actually did kill kids in movies. So yeah, so she's trying to leave, but then again, something happens. She's not able to leave the planet, but then she happens to run into some old friends. Her ex-boyfriend, who was played by Archie Renault. His name is Tyler. And so then he makes an offer that she can't refuse. Apparently, there is some ship that's floating above them, the colony, and they heard that there's some Weyland Yutani equipment that's just been left abandoned. And so what they want to do is they want to steal a couple of the cryo like the tubes that they we've seen throughout the whole movies or whatever that they all lay in so they can go into cryo sleep, and they actually want to steal a couple of them and then to get to the destination want to leave because they want to actually leave. They're called cryopods. I don't know why I couldn't think of it. So they basically want to sneak off, go onto the ship, get these cryopods from a decommissioned Weyland Yutani ship, and then they were going to actually use those cryopods to have their ship that they own go into autopilot so they can get to the destination they need. The thing is, it's going to take about 9 years for them to have to get there, so they have to be in a cryo sleep so they can get there safely. Only for them to not realize that when they get on this ship, is where a lot of those face huggers are and all shit breaks loose. And when I tell you that all hell broke loose, I kid you, like this movie halfway through goes off the rails and literally the foot is on the gas full throttle and does not let off the other. I'm like, there were so many moments where I was just like, what the fuck is that? Like, what is going on? What is happening? And there was a part even in the movie where you think it ends and then it keeps going. And so I thought that he did a phenomenal job. Now, in regards of like the xenomorphs and the the face huggers, shout out to Fede for going practical with a lot of his effects. I thoroughly enjoyed the fact that he took it back to basics with the practical effects. The set design, everything looked great. Seeing Kaylee Spaney in this role as like the new, I don't want to say the new Ripley, but since we're in where they're trying to revive the franchise, she is kind of the new Ripley. She does a phenomenal job carrying this movie. Now, as far as like the deaths and stuff go, I'm not going to tell you who dies. I know a lot of times people feel like, well, the trailer pretty much has spoiled it. Yes and no, because a lot of times when you think that okay, the trailer spoils certain things on people's deaths, I'm like, yeah, that happened to them, but that's not how they died. So it's spoiled, but not really, if that makes sense. And the one thing I will say about this film that I love, and I really feel like horror movie aficionados need to take note about, is the fact that when it comes to horror, can y'all go back to actually having us give a fuck about the characters before y'all kill them off? And I think that's what this movie did a great job of doing. It literally made us feel for a lot of the characters in the film. So when certain characters were killed off, I'm not going to tell you who because I don't want to spoil it, but when certain characters were killed off, you felt for them. You felt bad. And then one of the things I will say about Tyler's cousin, the ex-boyfriend was Tyler, his cousin Bjorn, you kind of understood like why he was mean to Andy as well. They explain like why he was pretty much a bully to the Weyland Yutani robot. Something pretty much happened in his backstory that is why he hates synthetics and treats them like shit. So I'm like, is there anything else I need to add to the film? So it's like, yeah, seeing like a lot of the stuff. Oh, yeah, they said, I was trying to remember who he co-wrote the script with. His longtime collaborator by the name of Royal Sayagwes, I think is his name. So one of the things I will say this too that I love about the film, they don't immediately jump to the chaos because I know a lot of times in horror movies or whatever, that's what they want to quickly jump to. Oh yeah, let's quickly just get to the kills. Like no, let it simmer, let it build up a bit, let us care about these characters, let us go on this journey with them, so that way when things start happening and things go off the rails. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention too. So one of the things was when they were trying to steal the cryopods, apparently it didn't have enough of juice that was going to get them to be able to go on their journey for a long period of time, which was, I believe, was supposed to be 9 years. I think it was only going to last them about 3. So they decided to keep going throughout the ship to find more tanks that will be able to prolong that time. So that way they'd be able to last the long period of time. Only thing they realized when they take those tanks out, it was thawing out the face huggers that were frozen. That's what they were using the cryo tank, the tanks for, was to keep them frozen so that way they can get into the Wailing Utani and they could do the experiments and all that other stuff on them and trying to prolong life, whatever the case the plot is that they were trying to do. So that's when all the hell breaks loose. So yeah, this movie definitely, it kept me on the edge of my seat. I was freaking out. I jumped a lot of times in this movie. I was literally screaming at the screen. And normally I'm pretty quiet when it comes to stuff like but because I was with a friend of mine yesterday, and I wasn't like grabbing on him, but I was leaning, like I was literally like this the whole time on him, like I was tense, and that's basically what I want from my horror movies. I always want to feel like I'm just like about to freak out. It's crazy, intense things is gonna go, and yeah, this scene was crazy too in regards to that, like the building of the tension. Like Fetty did a phenomenal job, and I will say that I am pretty much excited to see where he plans on going post this, because I don't think he's going to do a sequel. Um, I do feel like we'll probably be. I feel like maybe that we'll be getting more, depending on how this film does. I do feel like it's going to get more, eyes on it. People are going to want to go see this film, and I'm pretty much excited to see where they plan on going with this down the road. So I will say, is this the best of the franchise? No, because I have read people online that have said, "Oh yeah, this is like the best one ever." I'm like, clearly you haven't seen Alien, Aliens, but I will say this: Alien, Aliens, Alien Romulus. I feel like perfect trio. I don't care for Alien 3. Alien Resurrection, I pretend that shit don't exist with Winona Ryder. Um, and all the other ones, like all the other ones I'll sit and I'll watch, and they have like a big, you can watch all of them on Hulu. But for the most part, that was a good one. Oh, I forgot to show y'all. So yesterday, before I get off, I got the bucket. So here it is. I don't know if y'all can see it, the Alien Romulus bucket that I got from AMC. It looks awesome. I almost didn't get it. And I'm gonna tell you why. And it costs you about $30, 32 with the tax. But the reason why I was gonna get it, because apparently when the girl was ringing me up and she literally was going over there, I paid for it and everything. She was putting the popcorn. She was like, "You want it separate or you want it in the bucket?" I was like, "You put it in the bucket. I'll wash it when I get home." So she put the popcorn in the bucket. As she was putting it in there, one of the guys that was on register was like, "Oh, somebody already claimed that." And I'm sitting there like, first of all, what that got to do with me? Because I already paid it. I'm not getting no refund. I'm not putting it back. Like, there's a lot of times where I'll let things slide and I'll take the higher road. But, child, in this world, I am not taking a Michelle Obama approach. When they go low, we go high. Hell the fuck no. You better find another one in the back, because if I paid the money and I wanted that bucket, and I've been trying to go everywhere trying to find this bucket, I was getting that bucket by hook or crook. So I wanted the other one with the xenomorph head, which looked like a flashlight. But this is the only one they had. And I was like, okay, this is cute or whatever. Like, if I ever want to have popcorn or whatever, I can always eat out of it when I'm watching a movie or whatever and have a great time, like with my little popcorn bucket. I really wish I could go around and start. That would be like a good hobby. I also feel that you can collect popcorn buckets, but it's hard to find these popcorn buckets these days, because it's like people be buying them up. I think that Xenomorph one is at Regal, if I'm not mistaken. But overall, what happened was a friend of mine pointed out, he was like, "Oh, but there's another bucket underneath the thing." So he's about to come over here and tell me, "Oh, I'm unfortunately." I said, "Unfortunately, what?" Because that ain't got nothing to do with me. It was already rung up. Now, if it was for somebody, what y'all should have did was not have it out in the front for me to see it as a customer to buy it. And then he goes and said, well, I thought I heard that, because the girl was like, I didn't know that it was already paid for. He said, oh, I thought everybody heard me when I said it. Well, first of all, maybe you need to be better with your communication, sir, with your dried ass edges that you had, because them edges was way more split than Kunda's Owens. Quiet as it's kept. But and some old fat bitch was trying to, was sitting there trying to be like, oh, I couldn't take the bucket. Oh, no, sir. First of all, I paid for it, it's mine. So luckily there was another one there. Now, whoever that belonged to, that's an argument y'all gonna have on your own time. But for me, I paid all that good coin, $32 for this fucking bucket. I'm not giving it back. And I'd be damned if I can get a damn refund. So you snooze, you lose, bitch, is what I gotta say on it. But I say, oh, that does. What did y'all think of this? For those of you who have seen Alien Romulus, did you like the film? Did you not like the film? I'm definitely interested in hearing your opinion. Also, are you actually going to go see the film this weekend? And yeah, and and are you excited to see the movie? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below.